All right, so Tesla found some money between the cushions of their couch, but in the long run, this could be a significant amount of money. Now, this comes on the heels of the end of the Q4, the end of the year, and I know there are questions whether or not Tesla's going to be profitable this quarter, next quarter, but at the end of the day, profitability is not that far out of their reach, and this can really help. Eli Burton is going to be here to talk about it because it also kind of raised some interesting questions and even complaints in the Tesla community, because obviously Tesla owners will have to pay, not all of them, and that's kind of a part of the controversy here, but overall, this could be a really good thing. So we're going to discuss this in our weekly segment, Supercharged with Eli Burton, who is the president of My Tesla Adventure. As you know, there are quite a few new contributors here on the channel, the CEO of Faraday Future, Rich Rebuild, Sandy Monroe, and quite a few others. So this is becoming a really, really interesting channel, if you will, with all of the interesting opinions, but let's dive into this right now. Before that, of course, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Climate Exchange. Check out the Tesla raffle that is still going on. Don't forget, if you do win, you get a $195,000 Tesla. Really your choice, any configuration. You can enter it now, the link in the description of this video. But even if you don't, you'll be donating to a really good cause. It's a great organization, and of course, it makes a great holiday present. All right, so without further ado, let's talk to Eli. Eli, tell us what's happening. What is this loose change that Tesla found, and can it be a significant amount?
So here's what's going on. Tesla is now finally about to start charging for premium connectivity on their Model S, Model X, and the SR Plus or higher variants of the Tesla Model 3.
Now, what does that mean? Because a lot of, like when I bought my Tesla in 2012, the internet was free. We didn't have to worry about it. They told us, okay, well, in 4 years, we're going to start charging. But even after I bought my second and third Tesla, because, that's how much I hate them, they still weren't charging us any money. So what happened, and who's going to get charged, and who's just going to continue receiving this for free?
So here's what this means. All the features on your car are going to still work while you're on Wi-Fi. However, on standard connectivity instead of premium, some of the features that use a lot of internet data are no longer going to work. And that means like live traffic visualizations, satellite view maps, and then the other ones, music streaming, the internet browser, karaoke, and video streaming. If you want all those to work when you're not on Wi-Fi, you've got to pay now for the premium connectivity service. And when you have to start paying depends on a lot of different factors that we'll talk about. But for $9.99 a month, you'll get all those capabilities working over, I think, the 4G connection, or maybe even 5G for some of the cars that have that support, or 3G if you're using an older car. But basically, it's paying for that internet connectivity that we've all been getting for free all along.
All right, but some people are going to continue getting it for free. Who are those people and why? Because essentially, Tesla did not promise anybody free internet for life. Or have they?
So what Tesla's saying on their website right now is that people who bought from June 30th, 2018 or earlier, S and X, will maintain their free premium connectivity. And same for people for Model 3 with premium interior. They will maintain their free premium connectivity. For everybody who ordered after July 1st, they will be eligible to pay for premium connectivity after they get their first year of it free. So for Model S and X buyers, when we buy, we get a year of free premium connectivity. So for me, I upgraded to my Raven on May 22nd of 2019. So I'll have free premium connectivity until May 22nd, 2020, at which point, if I want to maintain premium, I'll have to start paying the $9.99 a month.
All right. But so there are actually people out there who have bought, let's say, their Teslas in July of 2018. Their trial already expired, but they continued receiving the internet for free. Is that right?
That's correct.
Well, okay, but then what about those people? Let's say if I would have kept my 2012 Model S, would I, and still have it, would I be charged? Because it looks like I would still continue receiving my internet for free forever.
You wouldn't. You'd still receive the free premium connectivity. Another thing that Tesla has listed on the website too is that used Tesla cars will have free premium connectivity.
Okay, that's, but okay, why all of a sudden? Because that's That's money they could have picked up a while back because they got to pay AT&T, and I think there's another provider this fees over and over and over again. And there are more cars. I mean, what, 350,000 new Teslas this year on the road. The bill grows. Why not offset that with pretty much everybody who's been driving and enjoying this for free? I don't see anybody complaining about that because this is way overdue, and it's only less than $10 a month.
Yeah, I don't understand the move on the used cars, especially when, what is about 6 months or so back, Tesla started doing it so that if you sold a car back to Tesla that had unlimited supercharging for life, Tesla was stripping it away. So Tesla was already trying to disincentivize people from buying used cars and starting to remove unlimited supercharging cars off the market by them taking that away. So I find it interesting that they flip the other direction on this connectivity and say, yep, it's going to be free if you get a used Tesla. Yeah, I'm not sure what the play is there. I mean, you can give it to somebody for a year for free, and that's going to be more than enough.
Yeah.
So long as they're not having to pay for it out the gate. Yeah, I could see some people complaining, being like, oh, you're going to nickel and dime me and make me pay an extra $10 a month out the door. Give it to people for 12 months for free and then make them pay for it after that. So I really don't understand this decision on used Teslas.
Now, when I was buying my 2012 Tesla, I assumed they're gonna charge us because you got to pay for connectivity everywhere, and I was surprised that it was going to be free. But after that, I kind of knew, okay, after 4 years, which I was really grateful for, you're going to have to pay. And once again, that time come and gone, and nothing happened. So that's because it adds up. Let's say there's 350,000 or so new Teslas this year, probably going to be 500,000 new Teslas next year, maybe even more. We're talking about, if my math is right, let's say if we're talking about 500,000 next year, it's $10 each. That's what is it, $5 million dollars a month. So we're talking about 60. No, my math is completely wrong. Half a million a year. Yeah, no, that's right. So 5 million a month. So then we're talking about 60 million extra money in their bank account per year just for that year, right? But then if you add 2008, that's probably another a few dozen of $1 million. So we're adding up to 0.1 billion. Why not get the rest of the money?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing that they're holding it back. I don't really have a good explanation for that. I think the move to charge makes sense, and as the company continues to grow, the amount of net revenues, that the money that they're saving by charging for it, right? Imagine when Tesla has 2 million cars out on the road, which we're a year or two away from. That's a lot of money in internet fees. One of the things this is a bit of speculation, but it's going to be interesting to see. You got to imagine at some point Tesla is going to, especially once Starlink gets really well proliferated, you got to imagine that Starlink is going to sell connectivity to Tesla at wholesale rates just so Tesla can increase their margin, right? I mean, why not? Elon Musk also owns SpaceX. He owns a Starlink project. Why not provide the best internet you can to your own cars and increase your margin for your automotive company?
Now, that kind of begs the question. Do you think they're charging, at cost, or do you think they're making some extra money here?
I think they're charging at cost or within $1 or $2 per month of cost. Yeah, I mean, these connectivity things aren't cheap. I mean, the R-Plate, the guys who make the Reviver Auto, we both know them, and they are charging, I think, $8 a month for the monthly, and they're just covering cost. Yeah. I'm sure Tesla gets a little bit better rate because the sheer number of devices they have, but still, I mean, there's going to be quite a bit of data going through these, especially now as people have the ability to stream movies, stream TV, YouTube, and as that usage goes up. Yeah, no, I don't think they're making very much, if anything, on what they're charging for the connectivity.
And it's weird because there's one thing that happened, I think earlier this year, to kind of to drive me completely away from them, which was they did no longer allow over-the-air updates if you just have the premium connectivity, which was still for free, obviously, and you had to have a Wi-Fi to get the over-the-air updates. They didn't communicate it to any of us, but nevertheless, it looked like they were trying to save some money with transferring so much data to the cars, getting the updates. But everyone's streaming music and so many other things that takes so much more bandwidth. So is there any connection between the over-the-air updates and them cutting the cost down there and charging for premium connectivity now?
The change in policy for over-the-air updates made a lot of sense, especially because with each over-the-air update and each new build, the size of the build is getting bigger and bigger. So it used to be, a small number of megabytes is turning into gigabytes and will continue to grow. So I totally get that. That seemed like a great move to save money. One of the things of note that I noticed and that some friends at Tesla told me is that when you actually first get the car, I don't know what the time period is, whether it's 90 days or what it is, but initially they will still push updates to you over the air, but it's for a very short window. It's just a very nice little convenience window when you first get the car. And I noticed it because when I got my new Raven, right, this was after the policy had already been changed, but I noticed I got like a couple updates over the air. Now it didn't last for very long, and then it would tell me I'd have to wait for Wi-Fi. But that's pretty cool that even for the first few months of ownership, I don't know the official numbers, I did still get the over-the-air updates, even though I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi. And it worked great because I just moved into a new house, hadn't got everything set up yet. So those couple months actually really bought me some time.
Yeah, and I also understand that there's more stuff to stream, right? We got now YouTube and Netflix and so many other things. Now, obviously, you can only use those when you're just parked somewhere, but a lot of times people will use it at superchargers where there's not always connection, at least not yet, from whatever services you receive, and sometimes it's from Tesla, whatever the shop they might have around there. But also now there have been reports that they're working on more apps, more gaming. I believe HBO Go is going to go in there, a few Chinese-based apps for the Chinese market. So the bandwidth will continue to really expand. So this is
and I think one of the things we can guarantee to see is online gaming. I mean, Elon said that Roblox is going to go into the Teslas, and that is an online game. So we're going to continue to see, we're going to continue to see growth and bandwidth consumption as they add more of these capabilities.
Now, how's the community reacting to it? Because I've seen some complaints on my Facebook group for the Model S and Model 3 owners. I know you're a little bit more on Reddit than I am, and by a little bit more, I'm not even on there. Have you seen any pushback from the community, or does it seem like the community is kind of on board with this?
I do see some people complaining, but I see that very much in the minority. Again, anytime a change is made that is going to cost money, there's always some people to complain, but it is that very small percentage. It doesn't really seem like it's getting much of a backlash or how dare you, Tesla. What I've more have seen is a lot of polls going up asking, how many of you are going to buy premium connectivity? It actually surprised me, especially looking at Twitter and Facebook. The percentage is hovering around 70% of respondents saying they're going to buy the premium connectivity or already signed up for it, so it automatically goes into place. And I found that interesting because I looked at the premium connectivity and I'm going to wait and let mine expire and see if I actually need it, because I don't think that I do.
So what about music? I remember using just the music itself would be worth it to me. Do you know?
So I currently stream the music because it's there, but if that's the only thing that I'm using, I can do that no problem from my phone.
Okay, I can see that. But what about traffic?
The live maps and all those things are nice, but I drive to, the same place to work 5 days a week. And I have carpool lane access, and the route I'm taking isn't going to change. So for me on a day-to-day, I have a feeling that I might not need it. And again, with the new Raven that I have in the range, I almost never supercharge anymore. When I supercharge, it's on the one trip that I take down to LA. And as you know, for guys like you and me, when we stop at a supercharger, it usually turns up into a meetup in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right? We're not sitting there on Netflix or on YouTube or on Hulu in our cars. I mean, you can't anyway because you don't have a Tesla anymore. But when I'm on those trips, I'm usually in the parking lot talking to somebody, or I'm in the Kettleman City Lounge talking to people I know. And again, one of the awesome things about being a Tesla owner is you do run into people on these frequent trips, because everybody's stopping at the same places and taking the same routes when they're going from Northern and Southern California. So I think it might be a while before I get a lot of value of premium connectivity. And I think the final place where I know I'll buy it is whenever full self-driving gets approved for that level 3 full self-driving, or maybe even level 4, we're actually allowed to run those apps. Once I can run them when the car is in motion, then I'll definitely be subscribing.
Well, first of all, every time, the only time that I spend on the superchargers is when we're riding together. So, but I have to say, I'm kind of surprised, because to me, I thought that the whole, at least half of the value of the car is the fact that it's so well connected to the internet and all of these services. I mean, to me, just traffic and music is for sure. And I don't even play games, and I know games is always a lot of times requires that. But but this brings me to an interesting point, right? Because I am surprised that Tesla has not done it for a while now, especially knowing how much they struggle to make to break even. And a lot of times, the difference is $200-300 million that they're in a minus. That could have been this. And to go further, $10 for connectivity, that's great. I think they can charge 20 easily. But what about charging for other services that they can provide? For example, storing your data from your cameras in the cloud. Something like Xfinity charges me at home. I have securities here. They charge me that, and I gladly pay for like $30 a month. Obviously many other services that they can also provide, whether their own streaming services or subcontract Spotify and so forth. I feel like there will be, correct me if I'm wrong, there will be like Tesla owners paying up to $100 a month in services like this easily, gladly. Can you see that?
If they added the option to pay for accessible and pay for the ability for them to not only cloud store your Sentry Mode back alert videos, but also make it accessible, I would pay for that in a heartbeat. I don't know whether it's $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month. I don't know where that number is exactly, but if they offered that service, I would sign up for it immediately. Just have that peace of mind that no matter what, that video is there, it's in the cloud when an incident happens. Because again, just takes one incident for every penny you ever paid for it to be worth it. The same way with security, the same way with all these other things. I would absolutely pay for that service. And I hope someone at Tesla is thinking about these things, because these are real value adds that can bring profit to the business and, most importantly, value to the consumer.
Yeah, and not to advertise this, but the thieves are going to get smart, and they'll realize if you want to get into a Tesla and not get caught with the video all over the news, all you have to do is unplug that USB drive, and you're good. Now, so this service would be necessary. So I personally think that Tesla could have been making hundreds of millions of dollars in the services that people would gladly pay for. And that brings me to even a bigger point, because you know how people say, well, legacy manufacturers, they don't want to sell electric cars because they have nothing to make money on, because they make money on maintenance. To me, I say this is what you make money on, these digital services that are not costing you anything, but you are selling it with the car, let's say $50 to $100 a month worth, get your whatever percentage that the manufacturer allows you, and you're good to go. You don't have to even get your hands dirty, literally. Do you think this is something where we're going, not just with Tesla, but just generally with the automotive industry, where digital services, it becomes kind of like ink for your printer, where they're going to be making most of their money?
I think some of them will get there, and I think the ones that really survive and thrive will. I mean, to the credit of the automotive industry, they have two things they've got to transition. They've got to transition to electric cars, which, as we've seen for any of the ones that have already started doing it, it's not easy. It's costing more money and resulting in more delays than they thought. Porsche is dealing with it right now, and these other automakers are going to too. They're going to run into issues with their battery tech. They're going to run into supply issues. But also, aside from making the transition from the internal combustion engine to the electric powertrain, these automotive companies have to become tech companies. They have to start thinking like technology companies. They have to start designing solutions like technology companies. And that's the place that they're not there yet. I haven't seen any of these automakers build an interface that I'm like, that was built by a tech company who's thinking about the user. It's like a little bit more screens, but I've yet to get the feel that any of these tech companies or any of these automotive companies have their head around being a technology company. But I absolutely agree. Long-term, the software as a service model that's going to tie along to this, it's going to be very profitable.
Right, and I'm surprised that Tesla is not doing this in on the higher scale, and this also plays into this whole subscription service where not only you get your payments and insurance and even electricity included, you can have all of this in the package where you don't have to worry about anything. You just bought a car and then boom, you just one payment for everything. So I hope Tesla moves that way. I hope they pioneer that as well, because they certainly have services to provide that I think people would want to buy. So I'm excited to see that happen, but we'll have to wait for that. Before we go, I know you. Well, first of all, let's talk about the your podcast, which I probably have a very exciting guest this week. Tell us a little bit about this handsome gentleman.
Yeah, so I had a really great guest on my show. We just released it a couple days ago. You guys should go listen to it. It's called the Tesla Geek Show podcast. You can find it at Tesla Geek Show. Search it on iTunes, on your Android, on Spotify, most major systems out there. And my guest was your very own host of this show, Alex Guberman.
Hey, hi. Yeah, no, that was actually fun, and the reason it was fun is because, you know, when I do this show on my channel, I talk about electric cars and news, and I feel like I'm a delivery mechanism, if you will. I am the premium connectivity here. But on your show, I got a chance to talk about my journey, you know, becoming a YouTuber, which was never in my thoughts ever, because I thought would be silly. You know, some of the you know, hate that I get here for being a Tesla hater, you know, and sometimes Tesla fanboys at the same time. So I thought it was kind of pretty cool to get that out of my system and communicate that to some of my audience. So if you want to check that out, go and check that out on that podcast. And I think you do a great job as a host. Now, there's another project that is also very exciting that's really picking up steam. Tell us about that one as well.
You must be talking about the Adventures of Starman Big Oil Strikes Back.
Yes, I know. I have a copy that's still well, it's still a good copy, but that's the first one. I know the new one it's been somewhere in the mail, and I'm hoping to get it signed, because you have like a whole big deal where you sign it, and it's a premium service, premium connectivity, if you will.
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about that.
In fact, we call it the League of Extraordinary Starmen.
Nice, nice. I like that.
But yeah, we've got a new issue out. It's called Big Oil Strikes Back. It's a mix of Starman story and Tesla and Big Oil trying to stop the EV movement. But if you guys want to check that out, go to bigoilstrikesback.com and you can order your signature copy today.
I'm excited for mine. All right, man. Well, listen, it's great hanging out with you once again. This is an interesting topic. I can't wait to see how much money they're actually going to start making on this. I feel like there's so much more, but I'm sure we'll talk about it sometime soon. But I will see you next Sunday.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
All right. So yeah, you know, I'm kind of, we started talking about this earlier today, what we should do the show about, and we wanted to do about this connectivity thing. But as I was starting to think more and more about it, how awesome it would be for Tesla and other manufacturers, right, to get this as a premium service. Because, you know, I don't know if you know, when you buy a printer, I don't even know if you buy printers anymore, but, you know, printers, when you buy it, the companies don't make any money on the actual printer. They make money on the ink cartridges that they sell it to you at like $50, right? Just like when you get a car, a lot of times they don't make that much money, you know, maybe $500 or whatever, but it's the maintenance, the oil change and stuff like that, that's where they make the real money. I think this whole digital services and connectivity will replace the maintenance that the electric cars essentially won't need that much, obviously, as more and more of them make it to the road. So let me know what you think. Tell me, what would you pay? Like, what would be your budget for digital services for your car if your car would be able to get this? And what kind of services would you like to have? I mean, we're talking about anything you want. So let me know. By the way, thank you to those of you who are watching me on live on Patreon. This is actually a kind of a smaller community where everybody has pretty good access, and I stream live there before this gets posted on YouTube, so you guys get the very, very premium connectivity access there as well. Of course, thank you to one of my newer Patreons, Thomas Dam. Thank you for joining my Patreon community. This is how I make my money as an independent YouTuber, my Patreons and my sponsors. So thank you so much for supporting me. If you want to join, go to patreon.com/eFreeElectric. That link is also in the description of this video. All right, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.